Looking for these better days.
It is Tuesday, March 17th, St. Paddy's Day. I'm Scott Seidenberg. Here's what you need to know to make today a better day. Venezuela defeats Italy to advance to the World Baseball Classic Championship game against the United States. The Lakers get the best of the Rockets in the first of two games in Houston this week. And the NCAA tournament will begin tonight with the start of the first four in Dayton. Mackenzie Rivers joins me on this episode of Better Day, presented by FanDuel. And Mac, let's start with the NBA. Last night, the Lakers go into Houston and come away with a 100-92 victory. Luka Doncic with 36 points in the victory. The Lakers, as much as, we like to hate on them at times, and as much as people like to hate on them at times,
sure, guilty as charged.
The Lakers are the 3 seed right now in the Western Conference, Mackenzie. Is it time that we start? They've won 9 of their last 10 games, 6 in a row. Is it time we start considering the Lakers as legit contenders in the Western Conference?
No way, not in a million years. On the season, the Phoenix Suns, for context, are plus 1.2 points per 100 possessions, the classic net rating. You know what the Lakers are? They're 1.4. They're plus 1.4. If you doubled that, you'd be close to Minnesota. If you tripled it, you'd be close to Denver and Houston. And if you multiplied it by 8 or 9, you'd be where Oklahoma City and San Antonio are. No. They have a tremendous streak of pulling these games out, but it's not just close games in the playoffs. It's raw quality that gets exposed. I don't think they are a top 7 team in the league, no. Maybe the Rockets aren't either. I mean, I think we might have learned more about the Rockets. I mean, they didn't sniff 100 points yet again versus a not great defense. Kevin Durant playing point guard towards late in the game. LeBron James, as much as I am on him historically, 18.7 for 13. Kevin Durant, 18 points, 8 for 16, 7 turnovers. They just don't have that offensive firepower. And I think Durant, maybe later in the season, we're seeing him a little more, 36 than we did earlier in the season.
Up on FanDuel, the Lakers odds to win the Western Conference, Mackenzie, 40-1.
Wow, just to win the West. Man, they were like
just to win the West.
They were like 12-1 to win the title at one point in the fall.
Well, because the Thunder are minus 140 to win the West. The Spurs plus 360, Denver plus 550, and then you got the Rockets, Timberwolves, and then the Lakers. Lakers at 40-1. So not a lot of love for the Lakers in the betting market, but winners of 9 of their last 10. And now I think that we have a little bit of a strategy here on our hands. Because the Lakers, I mentioned, it's the first of 2 games in Houston this week. They're off tonight. Tomorrow, they will play Houston again in Houston before traveling to Miami to take on the Heat on Thursday. I think we have an opportunity to bet against the Lakers tomorrow night, second game, immediate revenge spot for Houston before they take on the Miami Heat on Thursday.
I'm right there with you. 2 games at Houston, so same venue, immediate revenge spot. We like that. At Miami's a big game. Obviously, LeBron James coming back home. And if you look at the 9 wins in their 9 out of 10 run, obviously you can only beat who's in front of you. But I'm not willing to throw them in contender status, which I'm sure the Vegas market is more than willing to with the Lakers almost any time they can.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Let's take a look at what else went down last night here in the association. How about the Boston Celtics with a 120-112 victory over the Phoenix Suns? Jaylen Brown with 41 points, outdoing Devin Booker, who scored 40 points in that game. Jason Tatum had 21 points in 32 minutes. So the Celtics now 45-23, Mackenzie. We talked about how the odds have changed for them. They are now the overwhelming favorites to win the Eastern Conference at plus 175. And Joe Mazzulla also, climbing up the odds boards to win Coach of the Year, as he is now the second favorite behind J.B. Bickerstaff of the Pistons. Mazzulla plus 170 up on FanDuel.
I think I could see Mazzulla winning it if the Pistons continue to play like they've played the last 3 weeks or so since the All-Star break. Really, I feel like Missoula could do it. I feel like it's a better overall story. So we talked about this game last night. Neither Jaylen Brown or Jason Tatum played the Suns before, so we thought the Suns might have an advantage, and they did. But this is the kind of game that good teams win. Pulling it out in the fourth and almost covering at the end.
Yeah, they're good. They are very, very good. I don't want to bet against them. I don't. Other finals from last night, it was the Pelicans over the Mavericks, 129-111. The Bulls topped the Grizzlies, 132-107. Chicago's playing good basketball lately, Mackenzie. They're a team that I certainly don't want to step in front of either. The Blazers, a 114-95 win over the Nets. The Warriors defeated the Wizards, 125-117. Congratulations to Steve Kerr, Mackenzie, who wins his 600th game, fourth fastest amongst NBA coaches to reach 600 career wins.
That is not impressive. Think about that. He took over a gig and won a championship in his first year, which is impressive. If you would say, all right, young, creative point guard you have is going to turn out to be maybe the best point guard ever. You're going to win 4 championships. You're going to have Kevin Durant join your team. You're going to be a perennial contender. Fourth fastest. He should have been the fastest. I mean, how could you walk into a better situation than that?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Unless you're Greg Popovich and you're purposely tanking the coach in front of you so that he gets fired right when Tim Duncan comes. Then, that works out for you.
The Hawks beat the Magic 124-112, and then the lone NBA pick that you gave out last night, Mackenzie, the San Antonio Spurs as 8-point favorites over the Clippers. Looked like we were on our way to a cover, but then a 9-0 run from the Clippers in the closing less than 2 minutes. They wind up losing the game. Valiant comeback effort. Spurs win 119-115, a win but a non-cover for San Antonio.
Yeah, Spurs shoot 28% from 3 for the game versus 40% for the Clippers. Bitching and moaning from me, but Darius Garland did look better than I expected. He was really the only Clipper that could do anything, and he did enough with 25 and 10.
Before we get to the schedule tonight in the NBA, Mac, I want to talk about some of the stories that came out yesterday, and the big one being that the NBA is set for the first vote on expansion to Vegas and Seattle, with the 2 new franchises starting play in the 2028-29 season. I am all for Seattle and Vegas getting NBA franchises. I am not in favor of the NBA expanding to 32 teams. Tanking is a major issue. We've talked about it ad nauseum. As much talent as there is in the NBA, it's spread too thin. Okay? We don't need more teams. We need to get rid of teams or move teams to cities where they belong, like Seattle and Las Vegas. But there's no need for 2 extra teams, because all that's going to do is just add to more teams tanking and losing, and the haves separating themselves from the have-nots. Unless it's all part of my grand plan as new NBA commissioner to create the NBA and the ABA with 2 16-team leagues, then it's a different story. But right now, a 32-team NBA, I don't need it.
I don't need it. I do not need it. It is not the fix. It's not that the Utah Jazz need 2 teams worse than them and everything's going to be fixed. People talk about guys like Bill Simmons will be, going down the rosters, and they'll be like, man, the 50th guy in the NBA today would be like an all-NBA player or a perennial all-star in the 70s. And to a large extent, that's true. There are more good players. But if you brought like the top 100 players in the 70s and just threw them into the 90s, it doesn't really make the league better, because it's not about number of quality players. Like, there are very impressive leagues in Israel and Turkey and Russia. There's really a lot of talent in the NBA, but it's differential. And as long as LeBron James and Luka Doncic, or maybe that's a bad example now, but as long as there are Jaylen Tatum and Jason Brown, 2 top 20 guys, you can't throw enough top 50 guys at them to make it difference. You look at what the Thunder have put together with 3 top 20 guys, arguably. The Spurs with 5 top 50 guys. You're just not going to ever catch up with that unless you have a systematic advantage, which is the lottery, which is the whole reason. This is kind of a problem in a lot of industries where we just take a butter knife and slice what is working and just get more of it and just try to slice it thinner and spread it thinner. I really hope it could be good. If there's 2 16-team leagues, or if there's NBA Europe and there's 40 teams and 20 of them have to travel to Europe regularly because they're not as good as the NBA teams, there's a lot of ways it could work, but I am worried as a fan of professional basketball.
The only thing that I thought was good about this is that they announced that if Seattle gets a franchise, the Oklahoma City Thunder will forfeit the history of the Seattle Supersonics, and it will revert, or it will go to the Seattle franchise.
So your favorite thing about it is bookkeeping. They're going to clean up accounting of what happened in the past. Yeah, great.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah. So it's the same thing that happened with when the Charlotte Hornets came back. Is they retained their history, or they gained their history, and then the Pelicans just became like a new franchise, right? So the Charlotte Hornets have their like all-time history. Same thing with the Cleveland Browns. That when the Ravens became the Ravens and the Browns came back, the Browns regained all that history, right?
Is that how history works, though? Like the team, I know you're right, and that's how it's like legally done.
Yeah.
But like a team that wasn't, it's kind of like the Baltimore Ravens. Like, are they the Cleveland Browns?
No.
Like historically, though, like if you were on the Browns and then the next year you were on the Ravens, you were on the same team. But it's ridiculous.
Yeah. Vinny Testaverde was like, yes, that's what happened. But no, I like that the history belongs to the city, Mackenzie. The history belongs to the city.
Right.
Let Seattle let the Sonics fans have their history.
So you're saying Minneapolis deserves 5 championship banners?
No.
All right, it gets complicated now. All right, fine. We let the Lakers keep them because of their history.
Yes. I would be curious though. Like, I don't care what they name the Las Vegas team. Like, get creative, do something, whatever. But like, the Seattle team has to be the Sonics.
It has to be the Supersonics. Like, what a great name!
Yeah. Like, they can't just like make a new NBA team, a new nickname in Seattle. Like, it just has to be the Sonics. And then they get that. Yeah.
Boeing went to Chicago, and I think it's headquartered there, much to the chagrin of a lot of my peeps in Chicago. But when I think of Seattle, I think of sonic booms, breaking the sound barrier, doing it, technology style.
Really? You don't think of like grunge music and Starbucks?
Pearl Jam. Yeah, I do. Coffee and throwing fish.
Yeah. Let's take a look at the schedule for tonight. The Heat are at the Hornets. Charlotte, a 3.5-point home favorite. I mentioned Miami's playing good basketball lately.
Yep.
Like, do we consider taking the points here with Miami?
Yeah, I think it's kind of under the radar. So much was made of the Hornets in January and the beginning of February and even beyond that. But the Heat the last month have been just as good, if not better. I think you take that and then you take preseason expectation where the Heat were supposed to win twice as many games as the Hornets. I don't see why they're such big dogs here.
All right, the Thunder are at the Magic. OKC laying 9.5. What'd you make of that number?
The Magic on the second night of a back-to-back, but not that far of a trip from Atlanta. It seems kind of disrespectful. The Thunder will do that to you, though.
The Pistons are at the Wizards. Detroit laying 18.5. Pacers at the Knicks. New York 16.5-point favorites. The Cavs are at the Bucks. Cleveland 9.5 on the road. Suns at the Timberwolves. Minnesota laying 4.5. Sixers are at the Nuggets. Denver 15.5-point favorites, and the Suns at the Kings. San Antonio laying 13.5. Is this another night where we money line parlay against the tanking teams?
Let's see here. So that would be, we throw the Spurs on it for sure. We don't throw the Nuggets on it because that's the thing. It's not big numbers. It's tanking teams. The Sixers are not tanking. We definitely throw the Pacers on the parlay. They're not losing. 18.5 is pretty insulting for a home team. Maybe the juice is not worth the squeeze there. So what do we have? We have Knicks, Cavs, because the Bucks still control their draft pick. Yeah, Knicks, Cavs, Spurs. That gets to the window.
Knicks, Cavs, Spurs, and Pistons is minus 177 up on FanDuel.
And how much is it if we don't have the Pistons?
If you don't put the Pistons against the Wizards, minus 211.
Minus 211. I like to get under 180. All right, throw the Pistons on there. What's the worst that can happen?
the tank. Shout out Gil and the crew at VSiN, the Tankapalooza parlays that have been coming through each and every night. It's just wild. Yeah, we need 2 more teams in the NBA, Mackenzie.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, here's what we do need. The NCAA tournament beginning tonight with the playing of the first 4.
College basketball is nonstop. Big games, tight spreads, momentum swings every night. And now FanDuel is giving you a way to turn that energy into bigger wins. With the College Basketball Parlay Profit Boost, here's how it works. Build any college hoops parlay you like. The early tip, the rivalry game, the ranked matchup, the late night West Coast shootout, mixed spreads, totals, props, whatever fits your read of the slate. Then just apply your profit boost and instantly bump up that potential payout. Go safe, go spicy, go with the team you've been following all season. It's your parlay, your style. Now with more upside behind it. Head to FanDuel.com/believe to get started. FanDuel, play your game. Must be 21 plus and present in select states. For Kansas, in affiliation with the Kansas Star Casino, or 18 plus and present in D.C., Kentucky, or Wyoming. Opt-in required. Minimum 2-leg parlay required. Bonus issued as a non-withdrawable boost builder tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amounts. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or 1-800-MY-RESET. Call 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut or visit mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland. Hope is here. Visit gamblinghelplinema.org or call 800-327-5050 for 24/7 support in Massachusetts, or call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY in New York. For Louisiana, call 1-877-770-7867.
Tonight in Dayton, the first 4 will tip off the NCAA tournament. We have the 16th seed matchup in the Midwest region, UMBC, University of Maryland, Baltimore County, against Howard, UMBC, a 1.5-point favorite. And then the 11th seed matchup in the West region, Texas and NC State. This line flipping back and forth, Mackenzie. Texas up on FanDuel, a 1.5-point favorite. Other books have NC State as a 1.5-point favorite, so pick your poison there. Totals in these games for tonight. Now, I think totals are very interesting because while I kind of gravitate towards the unders in
First
both
half
these
unders.
games,
Yep.
in first half unders, of course, we talk about that early on here in the tournament. UMBC and Howard, 140.5 for the total in that game. The Texas NC State total is at 158.5. We actually looked up the numbers, and in the last couple of tournaments, the first 4, they're going over.
4.
10
Yep.
10-4 to the over in the last 14 first 4 games.
Including 4-0 last year. And the first half, which we love the first half unders, has also been slightly over. That said, it might make sense here because think of the timing and the pressure and the feel of that first round game or even the Final Four or later round games. They're much earlier in the day. They're much different spectacles. This is prime time. This is going to feel like a regular Tuesday game for them. Ken Palm projects this at 83-82. NC State, so 165. So you're already getting a huge discount if you like the over. I think this is the one time a tournament you might want to flip the script and bet an over in the first half or for the game.
We're actually on a run here of, I believe, 7 straight overs.
Never lost.
In the first 4 games. You mentioned last year went 4-0, right?
Yep.
And then in 2023, we had 2 games that went. Oh, we did have an overtime game in 2023 as well. So that's kind of interesting.
They don't call it undertime.
They don't call it undertime. We're on a little bit of a run here, but I do think, I don't know, part of me thinks that we'll see where the market goes. Part of me does lean towards the unders here. Definitely first half unders we're going to be looking at when the NCAA tournament begins on Thursday for the first round. But let's see how these teams handle it here tonight in Dayton. Also tonight, Mackenzie, is the beginning of the National Invitational Tournament. The NIT will tip off tonight. Several games on the schedule, 8 games, including UNLV and UC Irvine, which is your late game. And we went ahead and we gave out a play on the total in that game to Better Day Insider and Premium members. There's something about these NIT games and a lot of points being scored, Mackenzie. If you go back several seasons, it's been extremely profitable looking at the overs here in the NIT for some reason.
It's not unlike the NBA where there's 12 or 14 teams that seem to be playing regular basketball, and everybody else is like, let's just get up and down the court and have some fun. I mean, we're in the NIT after all. We're Yale. We're laying 5 points against NC Wilmington. Nothing too good can happen or too bad can happen. Let's have some fun.
Since the start of the 2023 season, we are 60% to the over in the NIT.
60%. That is a crazy number. Wow.
To the over in all NIT games. So that's pretty interesting stuff here.
Yeah.
Yes. We'll have more trends, obviously, as we get closer to the start of the first round of the NCAA tournament coming up later on today. We are recording a NCAA tournament preview with our very own AJ Hoffman. That's right. That'll be featured on tomorrow's podcast. And also tomorrow, Mackenzie, that is when we gather all the information that we have gotten over this first couple of days this week, and we build our educational, analytical bracket, and then we will compare it to come up with our final bracket that we will then unveil on Thursday morning's pod and in the newsletter on Thursday morning.
$1 billion is up for a perfect bracket, so let's do it.
NHL last night, we had 5 games on the schedule, Mackenzie, and 4 of them went over. And I bet the one game that didn't. So that just goes to show you.
But you're way off.
Yes. I had the over 5.5 in the Kings-Rangers game. It was a 4-1 finish, so it finished with 5 goals, not over 5.5. But every other game went over last night besides the Rangers and the Kings. Tonight, a much larger schedule of games here in the NHL. I'm not going to run through each and every game, but a couple of ones that do intrigue me include the Vegas Golden Knights hosting the Buffalo Sabres. Buffalo is a very good team this year that some people I've seen, Mackenzie, pick the Buffalo Sabres to represent the Eastern Conference. And I don't know if I want to bet against that, but that is one that people are certainly intrigued by. The odds right now up on FanDuel to win the Eastern Conference: Tampa Bay Lightning plus 175, Carolina Hurricanes plus 240, and then the Buffalo Sabres plus 850. They're a fun team. It's a long shot price, but I could see it happening. I can see it. Meanwhile, in the Western Conference, Colorado, the machine that they are, plus 150. The Vegas Golden Knights plus 500. Edmonton plus 600. Dallas plus 650. I say Colorado, the machine that they are. Meanwhile, they lost to the Penguins last night 7-2 at home. A very rare regulation home loss for the Colorado Avalanche. So file that one away. World Baseball Classic. Congratulations to Venezuela, who ends our dreams of cashing a long shot ticket on Team Italy to win the tournament, Mackenzie, as Venezuela comes from behind to defeat Italy 4-2. So congratulations to Venezuela. Now they will take on the United States in the championship game tonight. And the odds up on FanDuel are not close. The United States minus 300 for the championship game tonight, Mackenzie.
So USA was minus 395 before the semifinals. They win, advance, but their odds still go down slightly to minus 300 because we had the chance of USA-Italy.
Yeah. Your odds to win the MVP, Aaron Judge plus 320 as the favorite. Roman Anthony of the United States plus 650. Bobby Witt plus 800. Ronald Acuna for Venezuela plus 800. The United States is waiting on news from the San Diego Padres as to whether or not closer Mason Miller will be available for the U.S. in this game coming up tonight. So Mason Miller already has 2 saves here in this World Baseball Classic. He obviously got the final out in their semifinal game against the Dominican Republic just, 2 days ago. And so the manager of the Padres, Craig Stammen, is awaiting, I guess, the doctors or the trainers just to see how Mason Miller feels. And if he feels up to it, then he will allow, or the Padres will allow Mason Miller to pitch here in the championship game. I mean, listen, why play in this tournament and then, come this far to then not pitch in the championship game? I don't know, kind of.
It's not exactly the Olympic gold medal where it's like, forget my professional team. This is the most important thing.
You're right.
It's not exactly that.
You're right. Well, while we're on the topic of baseball, I want to announce our newest contributors to BetterDay.com. That's right,
contributors. It's like
contributors. That's right. Joining us as soon as this week, actually. We will have 2 new contributors to BetterDay.com and to the Better Day podcast feed. Colby Marchio and Jake Hassan will join us here on Better Day. 2 very sharp baseball bettors. They do other stuff as well. Jake has been a host on the BetMGM network for a while and some other shows. Colby's done a lot of betting stuff. You catch him on a lot of shows as well, a lot of networks. So happy to bring those 2 guys aboard here on Better Day and up on BetterDay.com, so you can expect some picks from both Colby and Jake for not just baseball season, but other stuff as well. But specifically baseball, those guys will be focused on, and we'll have those picks for Better Day Insider and Premium members. And beginning this week, we hope to have the debut of Off the Board, a brand new podcast on the Better Day podcast feed, hosted by Colby and Jake, where they will, yes, talk sports betting, but also they go off topic, which is why it's called Off the Board. Sometimes games are off the board.
Because as soon as they give an opinion, the bookmakers are like, take it off the board. Let's see how the market reacts.
Well, sometimes games, Mackenzie, are off the board, and sometimes those guys are off the rails when it comes to their podcasts. So Off the Board will debut here on the Better Day podcast feed, also on the Better Day YouTube channel. We will have live streams on the Better Day Twitter account and the Better Day YouTube account. So you want to make sure that you are following us on Twitter and on YouTube as well, Instagram as well. We're going to be having live streams where you guys, the best part about this, you guys, the audience, can interact with us or Colby or Jake. You can chat with us, and we will have those chat features, call-in features available during these live streams, whether you're watching on YouTube or whether you're watching on Twitter or maybe Twitch or, whatever platform you're watching on, you'll be able to interact with the show. So we're very excited about that. Very excited to have Colby and Jake joining us here on BetterDay.com. Before we head out, Mac, might as well bring up some 49ers news because why not pump your ego a little bit here. The 49ers adding another wide receiver, Christian Kirk, a 1-year deal. Look at all the weapons the 49ers have now.
Christian Kirk once went for, 3 years, $90 million with the Jaguars? He's probably just as good now, just a little bit cheaper.
Mike Evans, Christian Kirk. I mean,
we went the exact opposite route of develop and kind of envision a new kind of receiver with Deebo Samuel and Brandon Ayuk. We're just get people that already know the position, can run specific routes, and Purdy will get him the ball in the spot.
I like it. The New York Jets have traded Justin Fields to the Kansas City Chiefs. So in comes Geno Smith, out goes Justin Fields. Does Justin Fields see the field for the Kansas City Chiefs this year?
So he's joining the likes of Carson Wentz, Chad Henne. Those guys did see the field in playoff games, in big moments. I'm sure there will be one time where we're remember Justin Fields? Well, everything's riding on him for the next 5 minutes before Mahomes gets out of the tent.
Or do you think Eric Bieniemy and Andy Reid put together a package of plays?
That's always the dream, right? I mean, people have prophesized that the 2-quarterback system is just inevitable in the NFL with how much speed and athleticism out there. There's so much you can do. Andy Reid, you already won 4 Super Bowls. Do something different. Create an offense no one's ever seen before.
People have talked about this for years, and for years, right? The idea of lining up 2 quarterbacks in the backfield, standing next to each other in the shotgun, and then the defense has no idea which quarterback's going to get the snap, the guy on the left or the guy on the right. And then the offense just knows where the play goes, but the defense doesn't. Imagine how confused the defense would be on every single play.
It's not that dissimilar from what we have now with a traditional shotgun position. You just tell the running back, in this case Justin Fields, to take one step back so he's a little bit more ready to throw. And I mean, it's just a couple tweaks, but it takes, a bold and visionary like, maybe Eric Bieniemy and Andy Reid are ready to do.
Or Scott Seidenberg and Mackenzie Rivers.
Exactly. Bring us in as consultants. I'll take 1% off the top. That's it.
That's exactly what it is. All right, that'll wrap up this episode. Again, we will have a recording with AJ Hoffman later today, so that'll be on tomorrow's pod. We'll get our final bracket put together as well. Welcome in Colby and Jake. You guys can follow them on social media. We'll put their accounts in the newsletter, so you guys can follow them on social and get ready to. If you're not already subscribed to the podcast feed, I don't know what you're waiting for. But then again, how are you listening to this pod if you're not subscribed? So I guess you are. But stay tuned. More stuff coming. Make sure you follow us on social media as well. Be sure to follow Better Day on Twitter. Follow Better Day on YouTube as well. We'll have more content coming out there in the next, couple of days here. So very excited about everything that we are building here at BetterDay.com. To learn how you can elevate your betting game by becoming a Better Day Insider or Premium member, just click on the link on our homepage at BetterDay.com. For Mackenzie Rivers, I'm Scott Seidenberg. Here's hoping you make today and every day a better day.
If you like the show, please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe. It really does help the show to grow. Thank you for listening.